Good day, grade 8 learners. This is your teacher Arwen, and welcome to a new episode of our instructional video in English 8. Instructional video will definitely help and assist you to better understand the content of your modules. Thus, get your pen, paper, and modules ready because today will be so much fun. First, let's have a review of our earlier topic. Previously, we discussed about transition signals, which are words and phrases that connect ideas of sentences and paragraphs for coherence. Transition signals signpost or indicate to the reader the relationships between sentences and between paragraphs. For today's episode, we will be having verbs, adjectives, and adverbs to express emotional responses over things or concepts. Let's have some mood setting for you to have a glimpse of our lesson for today and for you to be motivated to learn. Let's take a look at this quote from a Facebook post. In our everyday living, we tend to be reactive to certain things or issues, especially the things we see on social media. We express our own emotions, ideas, and even judgments. For example, we are delighted when our crush viewed our IG story or see our celebrity idol in person. And we tend to judge other people when we have a different point of view on certain issues. Yes, we are entitled of our own emotions and the way we express it. However, as this quote says, observe and learn instead of react and respond. Conserve your energy for what matters, which is very right. How about you? What are your thoughts about the quote? Write or comment them down, my dear learners. And we are talking about expressing emotions in connection to our topic for this episode, which is expressing emotional responses using a range of verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Here are our objectives. As a learner of this module, you are expected to first, identify the appropriate verbs, adjectives, and adverbs used in conveying emotions and opinions for persuasion. Second, use appropriate verbs, adjectives, and adverbs in expressing emotions and opinions for persuasion. Third, appreciate the importance of conveying emotional responses or reaction to an issue for persuasion. And write a persuasive paragraph using verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Let's briefly discuss persuasive. So persuasive is simply to convince and make people believe. Every day, consciously or unconsciously, we are convincing ourselves and other people. For example, the moment we wake up, we convince ourselves to get up and live the day. And we convince other people, especially if we have a request on them. For example, during your face-to-face classes, You convince or you persuade your classmates to come with you in the school canteen or to be with you in the restroom. And likewise, our parents, especially our mothers, are convincing us to eat this kind of vegetable, which is the ampalaya. So that is persuasion, as simple as convincing other people. And in order for us to express emotional responses to convince, there are words to be specifically used to express them right. And in order for our fellow communicator to understand what we really would want to convey. Today, we have the use of verbs, adjectives, and adverbs to convey our emotional responses. Let's begin with verbs. We first met the concept of verbs when we were in elementary, right? In where verbs simply are action words like writing, reading, thinking, and more. But as we step up, our teachers introduced us to more types of verbs. We have linking, helping, main, and even modal verbs. On this specific topic, we will be utilizing linking and modal verbs to express emotional responses. So let's talk about linking verbs. Linking verbs are verbs that link or connect the subject to its predicate. We could use am, is, was, where, appreciate, believe, feel, know, love, think, deny, doubt, dislike, disagree, and want. Let's have this example. Undeniably, there are people who are not in favor of her win. But I strongly disagree. I think she got what it takes to be a Miss Universe. I am a little bit worried though, knowing her competitors. However, I firmly believe with proper training and exposure, she could bring home our 5th Miss Universe crown. So through the use of these verbs, a lot of emotional responses have been conveyed about the topic. There's disagreement, personal beliefs, worry, and more. Let's have the next example. With the continual push for a gender-equal community and for media arts innovations is the rise of BL or the Boys Love series. I truly appreciate this new form as this certainly will open hearts and minds of many. I know that this will trigger acceptance and hopefully stop gender stereotypes. These fearless media experimentations seem to go a long way. Cheers! Next up, we have modal verbs. We have talked about these modal verbs already, so let's have a review. So these are verbs that express suggestion or recommendation, which is an effective way to convince or persuade. To further clarify the difference of each modal, they are arranged from weakest to strongest in terms of expressing a suggestion or recommendation. Could. It is used to give a suggestion which a person may or may not follow. Should. It is also used to give a suggestion but more insistent than the modal could. Ought to. It is used to formally give an advice or a recommendation usually coming from an expert. that better. It is used to give a recommendation by presenting the possible negative consequences if the advice is not followed. And must. It is used to show a strong obligation that needs to be followed. Let's have an example. This letter addressed to UNDP Youth Advocate, Mr. Darren Espanto, in connection to the ravaging effects of global warming and climate change in the world. Let's read. Take note of the modal verbs used. Dearest Darren, we finally found the courage to write you this letter because you must know this news. As a friend and as a UNDP ambassador, I know that you could do something about this unresolvable, long overdue issue about global warming and climate change. Eco warriors have been warned people that they had better start changing their treatment to Mother Nature, or else we will all lose this battle and lost a home. People should become more responsible of their actions and ought to plant more trees and stop using single-use plastics so that in their own little ways, they'll help organizations like yours. Love, 8 Atis. That's it for our verbs. Next, we have adjectives. Adjectives simply describes either positively or negatively. There are several adjectives that you could use to express your emotional responses positively or negatively. For example, let's list some adjectives to describe this wedding gown, or the adjectives to describe your emotions or what you would feel when you wear or see this gown. Positives, we could write beautiful, amazing, elegant. You would feel delighted and confident when you wear this gown. On the contrary, negatives, it might be like uncomfortable to wear because it's too big or too much for a wedding gown, or maybe it's over-designed. Next example. Let's have this virtual conversation between Darren and Elijah. Elijah, did you hear the news about the crushed dolomite being dumped over Manila Bay shore? Yeah, I read it on Twitter. Some say it's best, and some feel it's worst and waste. How about you? What are your thoughts about it? Because to me, I am certainly delighted. It's better than garbage being dumped over there, right? Me too. I am happy, but I am a little bit anxious because why now? Why in the middle of a ravaging health crisis? People are sad and dissatisfied actually. Oh well, I know the government has valid and humane reasons of doing so. And then Elijah answered, yeah, right. That's it for our adjectives. All you need to do is to describe. Next, we have adverbs. Adverbs can be classified as adverbs of time, like yesterday, today, tomorrow, later, and now. Adverb of place, like outside, inside, above, away, indoors, and elsewhere. Adverb of manner, like neatly, slowly, quickly, well, and softly. We also have adverb of degree, like very, to, quite, almost, just, and adverb of frequency. We could use always, seldom, often, consequently, and sometimes. Let's have some adverbs to express our emotional responses. So we have here the adverb fortunately, which means owing to good luck or favor. Strongly, firmly grounded. Clearly, meaning clear manner. Obviously or evidently, which means very evident or easily seen. Personally or in a personal way or as far as oneself is concerned. We could also use these adverbs: truly or truthfully, disappointingly, completely, definitely, really or actually, unfortunately, hopefully, surely or absolutely, and probably. For you to better understand the concept of adverbs to express emotional responses, let's have these as an example. Miss Universe Philippines 2020 candidate, Miss Eliza Flor Malinaw of Davao City. Speechless. She definitely rocked this simple turno with class and elegance. Probably the wow factor wouldn't be the same if she wore her prelim gown. Her passerella evidently showed as a result of her hard work. Honestly, she is my bet for the crown because from the start, she was on point in all angles. Second example. This virus completely shocked the world. Truly, it lets us realize that wealth is not that important. Essentials and necessities are. It has been a long battle, but unfortunately, the end is still unclear. Surely, what is happening right now will go down to history. So that's how are you going to use adverbs to express your emotional responses, my dear learners. Is our discussion clear? Let's have a summary. To express emotional responses, we could use verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. Just choose the perfect word to specifically convey what you would want the receiver of your message to understand. Most importantly, let me tell you, my dear learners, that yes, we are entitled of our own opinions, but let us make it a point that when we voice out our points, we are human beings talking to our fellow human beings. Meaning to say, kindness should always prevail. Oops! That's our hint for our activity. Let's check your mastery of the lesson on using verbs, adjectives, and adverbs and expressing emotional responses or actions to an issue. All you need to do is to choose the letter of the best answer in each item. You only have a minute to answer. Write or comment the letter of your answer, my dear learners. Ready? Here is the first question. Done with our first activity. Up to the next. To further enhance your knowledge, familiarity, and skills in expressing emotional responses through the use of verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, watch this promotional video of the municipality of Pagudpud through this link. And write a simple paragraph. 7 to 10 sentences will do about your reaction to the place. Be sure to use verbs, adjectives, and adverbs in your paragraph. I am confident that you know this place already, as it homes one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. Translate your excitement and eagerness to visit this magnificent place into words, my dear learners. You will be graded using this rubric. And we're good. Thank you, my dear learners, for watching this video tutorial. I hope that you have learned something about verbs, adjectives, and adverbs to express emotional responses. Just remember, if you wanted to voice out your opinions on certain topics, be sure to be extra careful and respectful. Again, this is your teacher Arvin telling you to confidently and courageously go beyond pages. If you have questions and clarifications, feel free to send me a direct message. Have a darn fun today, everyone!